Hello, this is Mr. Stansbury. I'm going to take you through the notes on inscribed angles. At the end of this, you should be able to say, I can describe and use the relationships between inscribed angles, central angles, and arcs to solve problems. Okay, so first thing, inscribed angles. Inscribed angles are angles that are created by chords and has its vertex on the circle. So this here is an inscribed angle. It's got two chords that meet at the same spot here on the edge of the circle, and it creates an angle, this angle here, x. Okay, and the measure of an inscribed angle is half of the arc that it intercepts. So if this is, say, 20 degrees, this is going to be 40 degrees. Okay? Okay. Now with that, the intercepted arc is equal to the central angle with the same endpoint. So what that means is that, let's see. Let me see if I can get this written on here. There we go. So this arc right here, 2x, will be the same as this angle right here, 2x. All right. So that's what that's talking about there. And then given circle x, what is the measure of angle EDF? So here's an example. So if this here is 162 degrees, I want to know what is this angle right in here. Okay, so since we know that this is 2x, this will be x, so that means that whatever this is going to be half of this angle here. So we're simply going to take 162 divided by 2, and that's going to give us 81 degrees. So this is 81 degrees for angle EDF. 81 degrees. Okay? Okay. Now, inscribed quadrilaterals. If a quadrilateral is inscribed in a circle, then opposite angles are supplementary. So if you've got a quadrilateral that's inscribed, which means it's in the circle, then that means that angle, say W and angle Y add up to 180, and angle X and angle Z also add up to 180. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that X and Y will add up to 180 or X and W. Only the opposite angles will be supplementary. Okay. If ABCD is inscribed in circle O, measure of angle DAB is 122. So DAB, this is 122 degrees. And AC is a diameter. Find all other angles of A, B, C, and D. Okay, so we got to find all these other angles. So we know for sure 122 and this angle over here have to add up to 180, right? So 122 plus angle C has to equal 180 because they're supplementary from what we learned up there, right? So subtract 122 from both sides, and we get that angle C is going to be 58 degrees. So this here is 58 degrees. Now, here's the thing. Since this here opens up from this angle right here, this is a semicircle right here. So we know that from here all the way around to here is 180 degrees, right? This angle in here is always going to be half of this arc right here. So we're simply going to take 180 divided by 2, and that gives us that this right here is 90 degrees. Okay? And actually, by the same exact definition, this angle D right here opens up to this also semicircle, which is also 180 degrees. 180 divided by 2 means that this is 90 as well. And we also could have figured that since these two are supplementary, if this was 90, 90 plus another 90 would equal 180. So there's all the angles of this inscribed quadrilateral. That's what we have here. Okay? All right, we got one last example, but before we do that, let's take a quick little video comedy break. Okay. All right, find the measure of the arc or angle indicated. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what this is right here. Okay, so we know that this is 84. So there's a couple ways we can do this. If we figure out what that whole arc there is, we can take half of that to figure out this. Or we know that all three of these angles will equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to think this here. If I know that this arc here is 84, I know that this measure of angle M, so angle M, I know M, that's not an M. Angle M is going to equal half of this arc 84, so it's going to be 84 over 2, so angle M has to equal, what, 42 degrees, so this is 42. So we know that these are 42 and 59, and then we can add that up, subtract it from 180, and that'll be the question mark, right? So question mark will equal 180 minus 42 and 59. So that's 180 minus, let's see, 59, let's see, that's 101, right? So that's going to give us that question mark equals 79 degrees, okay? Again, we could have done that by figuring out what this arc is here and finding half of that. To do that, we know that if this is 59, this will be twice 59, so this is going to be 2 times 59, which is 118. And then we've got to figure out what this is. That would be 360 minus the 118 and 84. Let's see, that's going to give us 80, 90, 100, 202. Right, so that's going to be 158, right? And so that means that this is 158 degrees here. So we take 158 divided by 2. And that should also give us 79 degrees there too. So I think the first way we did that is probably easier. So I'm going to stick with that. So this again is two different ways that you could have solved the same problem. All right, let's try number 2 here. So we got to figure out what this is right here. Right, so let's figure out what that angle is there. So we know that this whole thing here, this arc here, sorry, this angle here opens up to this arc of 180 degrees, right? So half of that is 90. So that's going to have to be 90 in here. 180 over 2 is 90 degrees, which is this. And then we have to do 180 minus 57 and 90. Oops, not equals, but subtract. Let's see, 57 and 90 is 147. So that's going to give us, what, 33? Yep. So that means that this is 33 degrees here. So this, whatever this is here, this is going to be twice as big as that. So question mark will equal 33 times 2, which is 66. Okay? All right. Number 3, question mark for this one here. So that opens up to this whole arc here. Let's see. Well, from here around to here is 144. That opens up to this whole thing, which is 77. Let's see what we can figure out. It'd be great if we could figure out what this is right here. In order to know that, we probably are going to need to know this too. So let's see. From here around to here is going to be twice 77 degrees. So 77 times 2 is going to be, what? Let's see. 154. So this whole thing here is 154 degrees. Right? I know that that's 144 degrees. We got to figure out what that is. So 154 plus 144. Let's do this. Let's make our life a little bit easier. Plus 144. Feel free by all means to do this on a calculator as well, but I'm just doing this the quicker way, I suppose. 360 minus 298 gives us 62 degrees. So this arc right here is 62 degrees. Okay, so now if we are trying to open up, trying to figure out what this angle question mark is right here, so then let's do this. That's going to open up this to this. So we want to know what this arc measure right here is, which we know is 62 plus 74. So 62 and 74 is 136, and this here is going to be half of that 136. Divided by 2 is going to give us, let's see, 65, 66, 67, 68. 68 degrees for that question mark right there. Okay, and some of these are a little tricky. Some of these take a little bit of time to go through and figure out. Okay, and then last one we have here is trying to figure out what this angle is right here. All right, let's see if we know that this is 70. Let's see, this is 102. So we know from here all the way around to here is 102 times 2, which gives us 204. So this whole thing is 204. So from here to here is 204. We know that this part is 70, so if we take 204 minus 70, leaves us with 134. So this is 134. That's 70. And then, and this is 76, so we can figure out what this is right here. Right? Once we know this, we can use these two angles together to figure out what that is. So we know we've got, we've got 134, 70, and 76. Those are these three angle measures, and we know that this last one here has to add up, makes all these add up to 360, right? So that's 0, add a 1, 14, 15, 16. This is 18, so that's 280. So 360 minus 280 leaves us with 80 degrees. So this is 80 degrees right here. So if we're looking for this arc measurement right here, from here around to there, that's 70 plus 80. And then that angle right there is going to be half of that. So 70 plus 80 divided by 2. 150 divided by 2 gives us 75 degrees. Okay? All right. That's all we have for inscribed angles. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask. Thanks.